Welcome back to our program. I'm your host, Ray Guo. We will continue our discussion with Rosanna Chen and Mr. Richard Lee about their experiences this past summer in the U.S. We're going to continue with the both of you on the question that during the time you were in the United States, you also had the experience of meeting many other students from different countries around the world. That makes the total experience a lot more international than just meeting with American students or the Chinese students from China or Taiwanese students from Taiwan. How did that experience help you or enhance your experiences this time in the U.S.? Rosanna?
For example, I have never met students from Germany before.
Germany. Okay.
And actually, I met a lot of students from Germany this time.
Good.
And I found they have a specific calm and prudent kind of personality.
Okay.
And I discussed with them like the education systems in two countries and the military serving systems. And I thought it's quite interesting to know how these things are managed in their country.
Okay. And was there anybody in particular that you befriended with that really left a very lasting impression in your mind?
Yes, actually, the classmate sitting next to me in mass media and global politics class, he is actually a reporter in a small newspaper.
Okay, from Germany?
No, he's from the United States.
Oh, U.S. Okay, good.
Yeah.
And you guys converse quite a bit, and then how did that help you in terms of your overall experience?
Because in the class, I cannot comprehend all the things professor said. So after class, we may have a little discussion together, and I felt it quite helpful.
Okay. How about you, Richard? Did you meet anybody from other countries that really left a very good impression with you?
Yeah, actually, I call our class United Nations because there are three Americans, two Turkish, and one from Japan, another one from Eastern Europe, and France, Germany, a lot.
All over.
Yeah.
Good.
But there are just 20 of us. So yeah, it's quite interesting. And one of them called Anna. She's a Harvard student.
Okay.
And she's from Eastern Europe, and she really impressed me a lot because she really focused on her goals. Even in summer, she took a summer school course. At the same time, she did some psychological survey as her job.
Okay.
So she is very ambitious, and she knows what she wants, and she goes for it. Even though there are some challenges for her, but yeah, that gave me a lot of inspiration.
Okay. The two of you are very modest and saying that there was a language barrier in terms of communicating with others. But I think so far in the program, I think most of the people who have watched the program so far with me will agree that your English abilities are fine, are good. But the fact of the matter remains is, in addition, besides language barriers, were there other factors making your interactions with other international students more difficult? Were there things like differences in lifestyle, in values, or in terms of cultural customs that make the interactions difficult? Do you have anything particular that you remember, Rosanna?
Yes, actually, I think it's the habits of Eastern culture and Western culture, because I think usually we will tend to be indirect in saying what we want. And on the contrary, they like to speak their mind.
Okay.
So I had some kind of difficulties communicating with them at first because they would be confused of
what you meant.
Yeah.
Okay. And did the same problem happen with you, Richard?
I think I'm okay with that because I have some kind of experience get along with my foreign students, classmates in Taiwan.
In Taiwan.
Yeah, right.
Okay,
so.
Good.
Yeah, but I noticed the problem that Rosanna just said, so I just try, when I get there, I just try to speak more directly and try not to worried that I might be offensive or something like that.
Okay.
You know. Yeah.
But let me ask you though, during the 6 weeks you were on different campuses, did you get a chance to visit the homes of your friends, you know, or maybe spend a dinner with them, or spend some time with their parents or siblings, you know, as you visited their houses? Did you get a chance? You did, Rosanna? Would you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, they took me to a fancy restaurant, but that's not the point.
Okay.
The point is that I found they separate their family life and private life from their work life very clearly.
Okay.
And
for instance, how did they
for
do?
instance, at dinner time, they won't talk about work. They will talk about art or sports.
Okay.
Sometimes even not politics.
Okay.
Hard topics like that.
Okay. So, Richard?
I pay a visit to Vermont, where is a friend of mine. Her family is there, so
okay.
I pay a visit to them, and we spend like there are two of us to visit them, and
okay.
we spend like 3 days there, and
the whole weekend.
Yeah, the whole weekend. So we
Good.
also participate in their birthday party. Also discuss some like you know, just politic issues after the dinner. You know, they like to talk about that. So it really gave me an idea about how the family in the U.S. they get along with each other, and also I found that I thought they were not so close with family before, but after I visit them, I think they're really close.
Your
and they care about
changing.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, they care about each other.
Yeah, and we were talking before the taping started. You said that both of you said that maybe one big difference between the classroom in the U.S. and also the classroom here in in Taiwan is the fact that most of the students in the U.S. will refer to their professors by their first name. But in Taiwan, of course, we usually refer, to your professor by, with the title professor and blah blah blah. How is that different? I mean, how do you? Were you comfortable calling your professor in the U.S. by their first name, maybe like Raymond or Rosanna and Richard? Did that constitute a somewhat of a psychological hurdle that you needed to overcome, Richard?
Well, it's a little bit embarrassing because even now I don't know how to pronounce my professor's name in the United States because he's from Eastern Europe and I don't really know how to spell it. But actually, I just call him professor, and I think everything is fine. Yeah.
But also that you visited your friend's house in Vermont, right? In some of the American families, households, the kids refer to their parents by their first names as well. Did that happen with your friend? Did they refer to mom and dad, or did they just call by their first name?
They just call mom and dad.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about you, Rosanna?
I think it's the same.
Okay. So, but you didn't visit one of those families that usually refer to each other, irrespective of mother or son or dad, dad and daughter, just by first name. You didn't get that exposure.
Yeah, I didn't happen to see that.
Okay. How about the classroom situation? Did you have problems, or in terms of, self-imposed inhibition of calling your professor by the first name?
Yeah, actually, I still not used to that.
Okay.
I want to show my respect and my modesty to my professor, so I always call them professor. But I found that maybe the American culture encouraged people to be more kind of personal and to become a full individual, so they like to call your name to show, to recognize you. Yeah, but for example, in Taiwan, if we always call our professors just by their titles or just professor, maybe you won't remember the professor's name at the end of the semester.
Okay, good. And also, let me ask you then, the two of you have visited other cities, besides San Francisco and Boston. How does the experience this time compare with other experiences in the past? Like Rosanna, you visited places on the East Coast, Boston, visited before, and also Los Angeles. I mean, how does that compare with your experience this time in the San Francisco Bay Area? Please.
If I can, I want to describe the 3 cities I've been to with art terms. Like one is Washington, D.C.
Okay.
It gave me the feeling of Renaissance art because everything is so grand and kind of serious, and sometimes you may be intimidated by that kind of great beauty. Intimidated.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, intimidated.
Okay.
And New York City, I felt it's like a graffiti art. It's kind of complicated and very personal, sometimes even wild and full of anger, but at the same time, it's really free.
Okay.
At last, it's the city I went to this summer, San Francisco. I felt it gave me the feeling of modernity.
Okay.
Because it's full of sense of humanity.
Okay.
And it's no rules there.
Okay.
People enjoy their lives more, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, San Francisco is one of the most beautiful cities in the U.S., I think, according to many surveys. And also, Richard, how about your experience this time compared with others?
I think I will pick New York City and to express my experience.
Okay.
New York City, I spent a weekend on there, and then because of economic problems, so I live in Harlem. Okay. So I get to see the 2 different situation.
Yes.
In New York.
One
so,
in Manhattan, one in Harlem.
Yeah, right. So really different. And
that was an eye-opening experience.
Right.
Okay.
But
we're going to take another break, and we'll be right back to the Taiwan Outlook, and we'll continue our conversation with Richard and Rosanna. I'll see you in about 2 minutes.